people united will never be divided.
Two shots of vodka.
Ooh, child, I had to get my 2 shots of vodka clip out for this one, you guys, because it is a lot going on. And we've got to talk about it, you guys. So today we are going to be getting into these LA riots and everything that's going on when it comes to the mass effort to deport illegal immigrants. Which right off the bat, I can't say that I either agree or disagree with, and I know it may seem like I'm riding the fence, but there's a reason for why I say this. And it's because honestly, everything has gotten so convoluted when it comes to legal rights, government, and different laws that are put in place for certain reasons. However, there's also an influx of people coming into the country, which puts the country's infrastructure at a detriment. So I don't know, child, I am not God, so I cannot say who is right or wrong, but I wanted to talk about it with you guys so that we can discuss some of the dynamics and have a conversation about how things are currently unfolding in the United States. Now, there have been protests going on reportedly all over the country, but a lot of the focus is on LA, not only because it's appeared to be the most volatile area where the protest erupted and turned into riotous behavior, but I also feel like because of the history of LA and everything that's involving LA when it comes to riots, the focus is primarily on this location. And child, it is just a lot going on. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, you guys, but please stick with me, because whenever I decide to talk about something, it's because I feel like there's something important that we need to learn or something vital that needs to be said. So if you're down to clown with your girl, please be sure to stick around. As always, I want you guys to get in the comments and let me know your opinions about either what I say or about what's going on. And most importantly, I want you guys to keep your own opinion and your own mindset, because just because I say something doesn't make it true or fact. These are just opinions that I have on the topic and things that I think people should keep in mind when observing these types of situations. And you guys, I would appreciate it so much if you were to just like the video and subscribe, because then we can continue to catch the vibe. And it really helps out my channel a lot, because I am still a small creator and I really do need you guys' help. I appreciate all of you guys who support the channel, and without further ado, child, let's get into it. So you guys, I'm gonna let you know now that nothing qualifies me to speak on any of these topics besides my pure right to freedom of speech. I am not in any way, shape, or form claiming to be any type of expert on politics, policy, or any of the other aspects that go along with this topic. I am not a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, so please do not take this as medical, legal, or any type of professional advice. That disclaimer is in the description box below. And finally, everything I say in this video is alleged. So now that we got that out of the way and I have my legal protections and my hurt feelings protections, we can continue. Basically, you guys, I'm going to try to break this video down into 4 sections, and the 5th being my thoughts and opinions at the end, because I don't have a lot of time and I don't want to ramble as I usually tend to do. And since the majority of people have the attention span of a gnat, I am going to do my absolute best to try to get to the point. So, as many of us may or may not know, the supposed cause of all of this chaos and commotion are the actions that Donald Trump has taken towards illegal immigration and deportation. He's decided that during this term of his presidency, he's going to crack down on illegal immigration and focus on deporting people who are not here legally. There are many things that this man talks about on a regular basis, but this is one of the main things. And I just want to point out that this particular stance focuses a lot on race and ethnicity, which are 2 of the most publicized factors and demographics that keep us apart and create general unrest amongst us as people. And because of this fact, in addition to Trump's unabashedly brazen behavior regarding these topics and lack of sensitivity for the human race as a whole, shit is hitting the fan. Now, it seems to me that Trump and his administration are picking this as one of the hills that they are choosing to die on. They're picking illegal immigration and or deportation as one of the main talking points as to why it's so important for their policies to be implemented as soon as possible. But as a conscious observer and someone who knows the games that are being played, from the standpoint of watching people throughout history be used as pawns within our society, I question if that's truly the case. Honestly, we should all know that illegal immigration is illegal, and either occupying or residing in a country in which you do not have citizenship is illegal everywhere. But honestly, you guys, my skepticism stems from timing and how this is playing out. I understand that Trump was elected and therefore he's going to take action during his presidency, but it just seems very coincidental and not coincidental, ironically unironic, that all of this is taking place right now. Why all of a sudden is all of this such a big deal? Why is the timeline so sped up and everything that's going on happening so aggressively? If you guys know me or have been here for any length of time, you will understand that I do not believe in coincidences, and I don't think there's any such thing as happenstance. Everything that happens in our world and around us happens for a reason. And whether that reason is known or unknown, the reason still remains true. You may not always see it when the beginning of things happen, but by the time everything is said and done, that reason comes to the light. Could all of this be going on because there's an incentive to create civil unrest? Or could all of this be happening because undocumented people are harder to control, harder to monitor, and harder to oppress? Is there some incentive for getting certain people out and keeping certain people in? And when it comes to all of the people who are involved, what are their real intentions? These are all of the questions that I personally ask myself whenever I observe something happening in the community, or whenever I see some type of action being taken by the government. While I understand that everything is not always a conspiracy theory, you would be an idiot to think that anything the government does is not for a calculated, specific reason. And oftentimes that reason has absolutely nothing to do with the citizens and how it will benefit their overall quality of life. So when we look at what Trump is doing and what his administration is allowing to take place, we have to ask ourselves if we're actually going to be responsible. What actually is the real cause? And once everything is said and done, what actually is the desired effect?
Oh, come on.
Now, the next section of this topic that I want to discuss with you guys is the public response. Because if you think that these quote unquote protests or quote unquote riots are not a response to action that has been taken, then you are definitely a little foolish. None of these people are outside for no reason. None of the people affected by this situation or who feel passionately about it are passionate for no reason. So remember that with every cause, there's an effect, and with every effect, there is a cause, and it goes around and around in a pretty little circle. However, upon observation over time and with everything that's unfolded recently, I found that the public response is majority divided. There's not really any one consensus that weighs heavily over the other, which to me indicates that people in the United States who are experiencing this and or observing this don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on, but they don't necessarily disagree with everything that's going on. Honestly, I feel like there are split opinions no matter where you go or who you talk to, because not everyone agrees. Some are voicing sentiments of agreement with deportation, and some think it's wrong. Some are appealing to emotions, and some are focusing more on logic. There are people who understand the plight of the illegal immigrants no matter what race they are, but they also don't necessarily agree with the approach that illegal immigrants are taking regardless of their understanding towards the sentiment. Some people support Trump wholeheartedly, and they are willing to die on the hill as well. And a lot of people have simply checked out and decided, baby, this ain't got nothing to do with me.
Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
Can you guess who's who? But all jokes aside, you guys, either way you split this cake, there is no clear-cut way to gauge where the majority of support lies.
Having troops in a civilian American neighborhood does not make anyone safer at all. Do not send any more troops. We do not want the Marines in downtown Los Angeles. We do not want the National Guard here sent by Donald Trump. We want our local authorities to handle this.
You're on your way to work. Do you feel unsafe right now? Right now, no. But if I saw people running around looting at the same time, most likely, yeah. Would you feel alleviated at all by Marines in town? I don't know. It's hard to say. You would tell him what about them bringing the Marines here?
It's a waste. It's a waste of money. It's fear mongering. It's a lot. It's just causing havoc.
Do you feel safe given the protests that have been going on?
I feel safe around the protests. I don't feel safe around the military at the moment.
I feel like everything that's going on in LA right now was a trap. Something about these LA riots do not sit right with me. I'm talking about the timing, the energy, the way everything is being covered. It's like they knew this was coming, y'all. I know y'all seen the videos of like piles of bricks being staged at certain locations before chaos happened. Then when the chaos started, those same bricks that was placed everywhere, people started using them. So it started out peaceful. And then all of a sudden, boom, it escalated to this. You had people throwing rocks, bricks, waving flags. You had some people in ski masks, you don't even know if they were really there for the protest or was they just trying to entice them. Whatever the case may be, it caused Donald Trump to bring in 2,000 troops. But some people say this was too early for them to do that. Look, I'm not trying to say it's staged. I'm just saying, what are they benefiting from this? Why now? And why did it start in LA? Certain groups that's involved in organizing are some of the same groups that's involved in political funding. People got to start understanding. We all seen this playbook before. We got to stop acting like history haven't shown us. Escalate tension, then show the chaos, and then push for a solution that nobody asked for. Keeping a close eye on this because, like I said, I just got a funny feeling that this is going to start some new surveillance or some new policies, y'all, that's probably been in the making. Y'all, stay tuned. It's kicking off in LA, but I'm hearing it might go as far as the DMV, Texas, New York.
There's a high possibility, like 85% chance, the CIA is putting paid actors in the protest so they could cause a lot of chaos. So the FBI has a thing called the COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program, where they literally infiltrate, disrupt, and discredit all the political organizations. The FBI has been using the same old trick on us for years and is still working.
Again, surveillance and infiltration were key tactics, but the FBI also resorted to dirty tricks like fabricating evidence and staging false flag operations.
Now, if you still don't believe this is real, this happened in the Black Lives Matter protest. Some guy just came in, broke a bunch of stuff, and just left. He just came in, broke stuff, and left. And then when the people said, "Are you a cop?" he did not deny it. Now, the reason why they're doing all this is so they could get order from chaos, yo. So Raza, man, please chill. If you see anybody wilding out, tell them to chill, bro. This is exactly what they want.
When I was out in Los Angeles protesting the ICE deportations for the past few days, besides the fact that I got paid $150 to do so per day, I kept seeing signs everywhere that this was being funded by somebody much higher than the person that I'd met. For instance, they would give us certain streets or certain targets to go to, and on those streets, there would be pallets of things that could cause destruction to the community. I am not joking. For instance, you turn a corner, boom, there's a pallet of bricks. Oh, that's convenient, let's destroy the community. And y'all know me, I'm a good guy, but I truly do not care that much about the ICE deportations. I just wanted that $150 a day. But I got to thinking, man, whoever is funding this must really hate this country. So as time goes on while we're protesting and things evolve, they evolve in a lot more violent nature. For instance, instead of there being a pallet of bricks on the target neighborhood or target street that we are protesting on, it'll be a pallet of flammable objects. So it was at that moment when I saw that pallet of Molotov cocktails sitting on the ground, I thought, man, should I really be doing this? Like, this is bad news. This is going to get way worse. Now, I'm not from Los Angeles or live in Los Angeles, so I don't really care about destroying that community, but I'm American after all. Like, this is not good. Moral to the story is there are certain people in our government that wants us to go burn the local police station down, but in actuality, the corruption is at a much higher level.
So I'm a legal immigrant from China, and you will never see me wave a Chinese flag, especially right now that flag is associated with a and regime. After all, after I spent all that money, resources, and time to immigrate legally to America, why the I wave a flag that I spent so much money to get away with? Actually, I fly a Texas flag on my house because I'm a proud Texan right now.
The craziest part of the LA riots is the fact that you are waving a flag of a country you do not want to go back to. I think we all need to learn to be a good guest in a home that is not ours. For example, if I go to my friend's house for dinner, I clean up my plate, right? Put away my dishes because that's how you get invited back. That's how you be a good guest. So when you are in a country that is not yours, you're kind of like on trial when you're in a country that's not yours. Like, you have to act extra good. You need to be an angel. You need to be the star student. You need to be a star citizen. And what do star citizens not do? Don't break the law. First of all, if you break the law in a country that's not yours, you should automatically be deported. That's not even a question. You should never be able to get a green card or attain citizenship in a country that you disrespect. Because why do you want to be here then? Come over, you disrespect the country. Don't come into someone else's house and tell them what to do or tell them how to act. The craziest part is that Karen Bass and all these Democrats are like, oh, they're so peaceful. They're peaceful protests. I'm sorry. Do you want to see your city burned to the ground again? Do you literally want to see it burned to the ground again? Because that's currently what's happening. Moral of the rant is that we all need a lesson on manners here. That's not how a good guest acts. I don't act like that. And I'm a guest.
I am glad the LA riots are going on, because this is exactly why the country went red. Do you see any of what's going on happening in any red city? I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now, quiet as a mouse. But if Scamon was in office, every city in America would look like Los Angeles right now. This just goes to show that voting Democrat is literally a sentence at this point. Unless Republicans somehow adopt the liberal ideology, we are not going back. All this protesting is telling me that the unemployment rate is still too high amongst you liberals. I'm gonna teach y'all how to be happy, okay? It's just 3 essential basics. That's all you need to be happy. You go get a job, start a family, and praise Jesus. If you do those 3 things, I promise you, you won't have to live off of EBT and steal iPhones from the Apple store anymore. What a lot of scum!
The LA riots, do I agree with them or not? Let's get into it. And I gotta preface this by saying this does not reflect the views of the United States Air Force. Destroying your towns, your families, your business partners, your homies, all of that for what? Do you really think this is the way to keep your people in America by committing more crimes? I understand people come to America to build a better life, to help and provide for their families. I get that. But bro, you gotta do it the right way. And yes, I am speaking from experience. My significant other is a legal immigrant. As in, we went through the proper steps to make sure that she was good to go and able to live in America. And getting mad at federal agents for doing their job is just like you telling your boss that you don't like that he asked you to take your trash out. They just doing their job. And I understand that not all illegal immigrants are bad people or even criminals, but you gotta do it the right way. It's like if a parent tells you, hey, you can have this item if you ask for it, but then you just go and take it. Now you mad at them because you're in trouble.
Black Americans, come here. I want to talk about the LA riots, but in a way that's like removed from the emotion and the political charge that's in the air right now. I want to talk about it from like a clear-eyed, unbiased view. It'll be a little bit long, but just rock me for a bit, okay? First point is that, let's be very clear. Undocumented immigration is illegal in every country in the world. In every country in the world. I'm traveling right now. I've been out of America since February, and every country I've been to, they wanted to know the address I'm staying. That means Airbnbs and hotels. They wanted to know my return flight that I was leaving the country in. They wanted my phone number, my email address, my address in America, and my address in Europe. They wanted every single piece of information they could get about me to make sure I was not going to stay in their country. Why? Because undocumented immigration is illegal in every single country in the world. If you enter a country illegally, they can deport you, they can ban you. So like in Europe right now, I have until I think the 26th of June to leave. If I overstay that by an hour, they have automatic processes right now. I can be deported and banned from ever entering Europe again. As an American, I'm an American. I have an American passport, born in America. It's illegal in every country in the world. So let's get that clear. Now, when it comes to the riots and protesting, I'm 100% on board with people protesting peacefully, making your voices heard, all that good stuff. But my thing is, like, if you're protesting that you want to stay in America, why are you burning American flags? Nothing against other countries at all. But my point is for the narrative, right? Like, if I'm an unbiased bystander watching the news from a narrative perspective, why would you burn the American flag? The country you say you want to stay in, the country that you want to be a part of, the country that you're saying, I deserve to be here, I deserve a shot at American residence and American citizenship. This is the country you want. You're burning the flag of that country and hailing the flag of the country that you don't want to be in, the country that you fled from, the country that you say was so horrible that you ran from it illegally to risk deportation to come into America. From a narrative perspective, it makes no sense to me. It's like, a lot of these people that are doing these riots and stuff, it's not even the people themselves. These are people who wanted a fight. They wanted a war. And this is going to be their excuse to start one with the government. So again, for people that look like me, black people, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to think. The only thing I'm going to say is we should be very, very cautious about what causes we choose to throw our hats in the ring of. I'll put it that way. I'm not saying we shouldn't support our Latino brothers and sisters. My father's Haitian. I'm part Latino, right? I'm not saying we shouldn't do any of that. What I'm saying is we need to be very, very careful about what fights we choose to fight and how we choose to represent ourselves at this particular moment in time, is what I'm going to say. There are people, I promise you, in power that are just itching. They're waiting for a reason to unleash hell on the people that they don't like. So be very, very careful with narrative in narrative shaping, 100%. And then my fourth thing is I think Americans, in traveling the world, we really need to give ourselves more grace, I think. We have standards on ourselves that nobody else in the world has on their countries. Nobody else in the world. America, I think, is the only country in the history of ever that when we achieved superpower status in the world, where we could go forth and conquer every country that we basically could, essentially decided not to. Other than, I would say probably the only exception to that would be Hawaii, maybe the Philippines, Puerto Rico. The Philippines has since got its independence. I would say the only example of that would be maybe Hawaii and Puerto Rico. But like, other than that, the United States could have gone forth and conquered the entire world, and the American people chose not to, mostly because we're individualistic and want nothing to do with the rest of the world. But we hold ourselves to the standard of not only we're not going to use our powers for evil, but we also must use our powers for good. And that has never been expected of any other country in the history of ever, including not now. That we have a moral obligation to go forth and help every other country that's struggling. That's never happened in the history of ever. And so I think Americans, we need to give ourselves more grace on both sides of the aisle and just in general of like, yeah, what people are asking of us, what the world is asking of us has never been asked of any country ever. And we need to be more gracious, I think, with each other. But yeah.
Hey, liberals, this one goes out to all you pasty white, blue-haired liberals that are causing all these problems. The Liberal Party, the Democratic Party, is funding all the protests, and they've got ads on Craigslist hiring people to come out and protest and cause destruction and mayhem. And unfortunately, I can't really blame the illegal immigrants. I don't blame them for wanting to be in the greatest nation on earth. There's a reason why people are breaking into this country by the millions, because it's the greatest nation on earth and we do more for people than any other country. But unfortunately, if you've broke into this country, you're a criminal. And you should be deported. Hate to break it to you. And for all those people that are here for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and I don't give a what country you're from or what color you are. If you're from Germany, Russia, Japan, China, Mexico, we don't give a shit. You've got to go. And Trump's paying you to leave. You can actually self-deport and make a couple bucks. Maybe that's the best idea. But next time, if there is a next time when you guys come back to this country, I wouldn't recommend flying a foreign flag in a country you're trying to support, if that's what you call it. Maybe you should have flew the American flag. And you shouldn't be listening to liberals. These liberals, they're going to get you in trouble. And for all you that are getting paid for destruction, it's going to be funny watching you get arrested and spend most of your life in prison. And you deserve everything you get. America's the greatest nation on earth, and you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
I want to send a very clear message to President Trump regarding what's happening in California. And that message is, do not back down. Don't you dare give in to these leftists. Don't let the media or some political advisor tell you that you need to let up. And to the people in California rioting right now, I want you to know that I do not care what happens to you. I hope you get everything you deserve. If you want to attack federal agents, if you think you have the right to attack them and destroy property and do all you're doing, I want you to know that I, as well as most of America, don't care what happens to you. I'm not going to feel bad when you get hurt. If you're choking on tear gas, I'm going to laugh. And you're in handcuffs in the back of the vehicle or in the local jail, getting prosecuted for attacking federal agents, I'm going to hope that you get the maximum sentence. I want President Trump to know that the vast majority of America is with him. We are supporting what he's doing. And we are supporting the federal agents and the National Guard members executing that plan. So people in California, please get this in your head. The country is not with you. We are with the president we elected who promised to get this done.
We are not with you. We are with the president.
They can't beat the Mexicans. I mean, that's culture. That should help build California, everything. Like, there's a piece of all that. Like, y'all got a lot more history embedded into the roots. They want people to pop off. They want people to act stupid. They want people to go crazy, man. F that. How do we kill them with kindness and getting more money than them? Y'all need to get y'all out the street, because y'all came from the street and you're bigger than it. All of us, man, blacks and browns, we all bigger than it. That's what they want us to be. That's what they want us, because that's how they've treated us for years as street people. So we want to rally, blacks and browns, guess where we meet at? In the street.
Talk about some black people, why you not helping us? You crazy as hell. Because last time I checked, every time we went through something, we went through that our damn selves. Slavery, where the f y'all was at? Last time I checked, we freed our selves. Yeah, that's right. Slavery ended because the war down here in Florida with a group called the Florida Seminole Wars that was black runaways, Native Americans, and black aboriginals giving Andrew Jackson and the boys for 8 years straight. And we ain't asked that. How about Jim Crow? Last time I checked, y'all didn't ride for Emmett Till. Where the f was that? What about redlining? What about the fight for reparation? Where the f you at? What Future say? Where the f you at when a nigga really needs you? Where the f you at when a... And we not finna sit here and start acting like y'all when niggas real. And this goes for you legals, illegals, Mexicans, Caribbeans, Africans, whatever the f y'all wanna call yourselves. The only reason white people let y'all in this country legally, for the legal ones, is because they knew you would conform to white supremacy as an economic refugee. Right. So you didn't come here to help a nigga. You didn't come here to support a nigga. You came here for opportunity and benefits. Because in America, there's only two ideologies. Either your ass is pro-black or you conform to white supremacy. And you've been conforming to white supremacy. So don't feel sorry for you, no kind of way. Come get y'all. Listen, if it's too hot, get the f out the kitchen. If you ain't no dog for real, get the f out the pen.
So y'all want black folks to come and fight with y'all. Come stand on the front line like we always have. But ain't this the same group that refuses to stop saying the N-word? This ain't the same group that was being in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic creator. But now y'all want our help. Okay, interesting. That was my initial thoughts, right? It's their war, let them deal with it. But that's an emotional response. Okay, that's pure bitterness, that's wrong. There's no sense of righteousness in that mindset. And even though it's not, I will fight. It is, I will fight. Okay, because today, it's Hispanics and Latinos. But the only reason why we're not grouped up with them is because technically, legally, we were born here. Okay, he arresting them. They're trying to annihilate our whole community. And to those of y'all that's making an argument of, well, undocumented immigration is illegal. This is what happens when you break the law anywhere. Bro, it's put out a quota. Trump put out a quota, meaning these officers are required to meet a certain number of arrests. Anytime you put a quota on something, bro, it's bound for you to run into some outlawed, unlawful shit. You forcing the issue. This is dropping 2,000 National Guardsmen to arrest these folks, tear these people away from their families. Flint, Michigan still ain't even got clean water. Elementary schools, middle schools, high schools getting shot up. And this is what we prioritizing. If you won't see nothing wrong with that, bro, you just as up. So to my black folks, it is our fight. Okay, we can't adopt the same mindset as our oppressors. All right, they want us to divide. That way it's easier to take us out. Because today, it's Hispanic and Latinos. But that motherfucker in the White House, he don't look at us no differently. He itching to get us up out of here. It's only a matter of time. All right, we got to be a part of the change that we want to see.
I am a Marine veteran. I served in the first Trump administration. My leave day was the same day he was elected president. I ended up being in an infantry unit forward deployed to Japan. This was when Kim Jong-un was shooting missiles over Japan. So we were told to get ready for war. This is because not only was Kim Jong-un shooting missiles over us, but Trump was calling him Rocket Man and all these types of names and making fun of him instead of talking to him like a leader. Now I joined to serve and protect my country. That was my reasoning, to fight for your rights. It's just what I believed in. And if I had to give my life to make a world better place, I was okay with that. Trump is doing all this big talk about how we would destroy their military. I have never defied any command ever given to me in the Marine Corps. I even had a leadership position. But Trump's inability to lead but also provoke tension was not something I could follow or go along with. I think I vaguely said, well, I'm expected to North Korean soldiers because their leader is an idiot and our leader is also incompetent. I'm not going. And I was threatened with 25 years in military prison because somebody told on me. And here we are yet again with Trump and the administration, and we're forcing Marines who signed up for your rights to fight for your freedoms. We protect you to intimidate and antagonize. This is the worst leader America has ever had. I've always said Trump is a great talker, but he's a terrible leader. And every time he gets in office, we have protests, buildings start burning down. All of a sudden, it's the federal government against its citizens again. And who is standing up for this? There was no gain. There was only pain, misery, and wrongness. Marines were trained to take orders. Would I have gone to the North Korean War? Maybe. But at that time, my morals were bigger than any command anybody could have given me because I knew it was wrong. I signed up to take out the bad guys, not to be the bad guy. We're 6 months into this administration already, and we're already on fire again. So America, I ask you, is this the future you want for your kids? Is this the leadership you think is going to take you to the promised land? Because we're going backwards in time. And ask yourself this, when was America great and who was it great only for? But just know I would never do anything like this to you because I love my country. It just happens to be on fire. So who's gonna grab those fire extinguishers? How much do you love your country? Because this isn't love, this is hating your country and will never be great moving in this direction.
And that's why I said in the title, child, that this man over here who is a hue of orange is telling us all through these very subtle actions that we should eat cake. But more on my opinions later. Now, the next section of this topic that I want to talk about is Trump's response to the public response to his initial actions. This man has chosen to wake up in this part of his life and simply choose chaos, child.
Mr. President, will you invoke the Insurrection Act to deal with the situation in California?
If there's an insurrection, I would certainly invoke it. We'll see, but I can tell you last night was terrible. The night before that was terrible. We have, as you've seen, it was on most of your networks, people with big, heavy hammers pounding the concrete and pounding curbs, pounding it, breaking up, and handing these big chunks of concrete to people. And they were taking that concrete, going up in bridges and dropping it into the roof of a car. They were throwing it at our police. They were throwing it at our soldiers. Look, if we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire, and we have it in great shape.
Will the National Guard be in California indefinitely? How long will they be there until you think?
Until there's no danger. It's easy. Look, it's common sense. You ask me that question. When there's no danger, they'll leave. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country.
He is not giving up and he refuses to back down. And although I may not agree with the things that he's doing, you have to admit that that is a very commendable asset to have within someone who is leading the country. This is why so many people were ready to vote for him, because he has these personality traits that make you say, that's a quality that honestly I might admire. Some people feel like the weakness of leaders creates problems within the country. And you cannot deny on this here Beyonce's internet that Trump does not have the gift of gab and that man is not charismatic. He would not have been able to navigate through all of the systems that he's navigated through without those abilities. And after you have somebody who's sitting in a position of authority and power for so long that's floundering around like a goldfish, people at some point will be tired. So as the chaos unfolds, our beautiful orange man is triumphing over his adversities by capitalizing on the destruction. And that is why his response is set on pure chaos. And it's actually framed in a position of the opposite. He's capitalizing on everything that's going on and the choices that people are making in response to the triggers that he's laid out. And that's really what I feel like regular people need to see. Now, you may ask yourself, why would someone do this? Well, when there's chaos, there's confusion. And when there's confusion, there can be illusions. And when there are illusions, then ultimately there is the opportunity for delusion, you guys. The more fear he can create and the more he can prop up some while tearing down others, and the more vague that he can be when it comes to the next steps that he's planning on taking, the more his administration can benefit and the easier it will be for them to implement whatever policies, procedures, and laws that they deem fit. And that cycle will simply repeat, where he's able to create more fear, anxiety, and chaos to create the same result over and over. All it is a business strategy, you guys. And the sooner people stop asking themselves what kind of human being can do this and realize that we're dealing with people who simply do not care, the better off I feel a lot of us would be. Now, the fourth section of this topic that I want to talk about before I get to my final thoughts is the ultimate effect that all of this is going to have on us as people. From a standpoint of the ultimate effect that I personally believe, in my opinion, is attempting to be created. At this particular stage of the game, I feel like the only real effect that Trump and his cabinet are attempting to create is one that's filled with conflict and chaos. And you guys, I've said this before and I will say it again. There are controlling forces in our world that want certain outcomes to happen. And it's not always the people you see that are pulling the puppet strings. It's the people who stand behind those people that are the ones really deciding how things are going to start moving and where things will go. And if you think those people are ever going to let you figure out who they really are, you are mistaken. They are going to do as much as they can within their power to prevent you from ever knowing who they are, and to prevent you from ever knowing how much control that they have over your life. They have become the quote-unquote controlling forces of our world. And you best believe that they know exactly how to manipulate you, me, and everybody the fuck else. However, right now, the only result that I feel that they want to achieve through the figureheads that we are seeing publicly right now is conflict and chaos. But why, you might ask? Well, having conflict and chaos leads to a need to quell the conflict and chaos. It leads to a need for new systems, new organization tactics, and new ways to make sure that everybody remains safe and out of harm's way. Because that's ultimately what the population wants, is safety, security, and stability. Because when there's civil unrest and things are unstable, people tend to be nervous. And with these nerves and anxiety comes a lack of spending money and a lack of following the program and a lack of everything else that the controlling forces need to perpetuate the system. Ultimately, this is another tool in the arsenal to achieve universal control. They want us all in line, and all of you guys know it, and some of you don't care. Some of you are ready to fall in line, and you're ready to line up and get your chains measured, because that's easier for you instead of acting and thinking and moving independently. But that's the main reason why they're able to implement this triangulation tactic. The people who are against the government, which doesn't actually work for them, get targeted. This happens because it allows for the people who are in charge to escape accountability. Instead of addressing the issues being voiced by those people who are against what the government is doing and finding a way towards peace, they defame and reframe the perspective of those people to the rest of the general public, and then they triangulate public servants, military and police, and the people who support the government or who are too cowardly to fight back against those people who do not agree with how things are being done. And while I do understand that the public servants, military, and police who are used in this way literally have been tasked with the job that they are completing, I also feel like it's very nefarious for it to be positioned in this way. Because honestly, what choice do they really have? In essence, their freedom is being taken away as well. This props up the new supply while eliminating the credibility of the now wiser original supply. Ultimately, people who support the government are used to bolster their decisions and sway public opinion to their side, with the added special bonus of also creating conflict online between different groups. It perpetuates the agenda and ensures that the ultimate effect, which is universal control over the population, is successfully carried out. Ooh, child, I be trying to read and get these words correct so I don't be rambling for y'all. And before we get to my thoughts and opinions about this situation, I'd like to ask you guys respectfully once again if you could be sure to like and subscribe so that we can continue to catch the vibe. Because honestly, if you've gotten this far in the video, there's something that may have struck you or hit you to make you think. That is my ultimate intention, because even though we may not all agree, I feel like we all have the right to think independently for ourselves. Which leads me to my thoughts and opinions about this situation. Guys, history constantly repeats itself. And I don't think that that's happening for no reason. We all have to ask ourselves this question. What is this situation teaching us? And what have situations in the past that are similar to this tried to teach us before? We are all human beings, and thinking that one group is better than the other is extremely ignorant. Whether it's race, religion, social class, economical, or financial status, none of those factors actually matter. We are all people, and we all deserve to have a chance to live a happy, healthy life. And to be honest with you, even though I'm not a religious person and I'm more spiritual, I really feel that that's the lesson that God, Source, the Creator, or whoever you pray to that does not have a negative connotation is trying to teach us. Throughout history, there have been so many times where people have been chastised or criticized, and it's because of who they are. It's because of their demographics. It's because of what they believe or how they worship, or it's because of some other very simple, ignorant factor that isn't actually relevant to them being a human being. We're being shown through all of these situations that we should never chastise another person or group for presumed faults or inadequacies, because you'll never know when it could be you. You never know when the shoe may be on the other foot or when the tables decide that they want to turn. Isn't that a saying or a scripture that says, let he who cast the first stone be without sin, or something like that? This is how we always end up getting got and slipping up. As soon as you think you're safe, you are not, because these types of attitudes stem from a place of divide. And although I agree that there needs to be some type of order to the chaos, and without government there would be chaos, I also don't feel like it's fair or right for that government to be able to have this universal control over their population. The falseness of freedom and the falseness of democracy that we've cultivated within this country that says out of its mouth that the people here are free, but then oppresses behind its back with the actions of the laws and policies is a huge imbalance, and it creates a hypocrisy that causes these situations to continue to perpetuate. The quote-unquote people of any country are seen as pawns or tools, and this is often for the utilization of governmental agendas. The people are not seen as people, they're seen as objects. Our emotions, minds, bodies, and souls are used for the personal gain of others, and no one seems to know how to break free from this control. If you don't participate at all, there can be consequences. And if you participate, there can be consequences on that side as well. But ultimately, when you have these systems and you have any type of hypocrisy within these systems, or when there's any type of corruption taking place behind the scenes, no one at the bottom wins. History has attempted to teach us on several occasions that a band-aid on a deep flesh wound does not help anything. Without getting to the core of the issue, nothing will change. And the core issue, in my opinion, is that people are losing their humanity. You don't have to support illegal immigration to see how forceful, aggressive action can be harmful. And you don't have to agree with all of the government's choices to see the need for its presence. Most importantly, you don't have to react and respond when you're obviously being provoked. And personally, I don't know the answer or the solution, but I do know that at some level, it starts with realizing these truths. Now, with that being said, you guys, I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to let you guys continue this conversation in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say because this is a topic that actually will affect all of us. No matter who you are, no matter how involved or uninvolved you are in this situation, every single thing that's going on right now is going to end up affecting all of us. So keep that in mind as you continue to go about your day and live your best life. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are or what your opinions might be regarding what I discussed. Most importantly, you guys, I hope the things that I said and brought up during this video helped you in some type of way or possibly challenged your perspective to see it from both sides. That's ultimately the only way that we'll be able to make progress when it comes to having a more peaceful society. And finally, before you go, you guys, be sure to like and subscribe to continue to catch the vibe, and I will see all of you guys next time.